What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, whenever this finds you. Welcome back to the channel, First Presbyterian Church, Murfreesboro. This is your daily meditation for Thursday, April 22nd, 2021. Let's jump right in. I'm going to read to you a little bit from Acts chapter 17, verses 24, I think just 24 and 25. Paul is preaching here in Athens, and he's preaching in Athens. Okay, Greeks, right? Greeks who worshipped Greek gods. They had temples, and their gods were these idols, these statues that were there. So just to back up a little bit, they admitted that they didn't know what Paul was talking about or the message that they admitted their ignorance, and that was right. Okay, that's good. They didn't know the God that Paul is talking about or who Jesus was or anything like that. They didn't know, not only did they not know who God was, they didn't know where God was, where God dwelled, or where God would be found, right? They had this kind of temple mindset. They didn't know how God wanted to be worshipped, or what a relationship with this God Paul is talking about, what that would even look like. So here we go. This is just a couple of verses here. And interestingly, these commentators and scholars and things kind of ignore these verses. I tried to look some stuff up. What are people saying about these verses? And the answer is nothing. Nobody really cares about these. John Calvin skipped over it. I looked at probably 3 or 4 different commentaries, like, what are they saying about it? And no one says much. It's like this is obvious, or doesn't need much. Just, I don't know. Let's see what you think. Paul says, He is the God who made the world and everything in it. Since he's Lord of heaven and earth, he doesn't live in man-made temples, and human hands can't serve his needs, because he has no needs. He himself gives life and breath to everything, and satisfies every need there is. So I think that there's just a couple of short things that I'm observing here. And I know I say it every time, but I wish we could do this together to talk about this. And I think that would be much more productive. But you're stuck with me in this very one-sided video. 2 things that are jumping out to me. What a gift it is, and what good news it is to know that God doesn't need anything from us. God has never needed anything from us. God doesn't dwell in places that we create or make. And our human hands cannot serve God's needs. We can't do it because why? Because God has no needs. God doesn't need anything. God has no needs, which is hard for us very needy humans to wrap our minds around, that there could be this force of nature, this being, this divine entity, anything else that wouldn't have. Everything needs something. Even inanimate objects need maintenance and care. Living things, we all need something, but God, we can't give God what God needs. Because why? Because God doesn't need anything. And that's good news, that we worship and love and are loved by God, who has no needs. So we don't need to worry about that. Not only that, there is nothing that we needed to do in order to be loved and cared for by this God. So not only is there nothing we need to do, because God has no needs, there is nothing that we've ever needed to have done. Does that make sense? We can just stop and relax, knowing that this is true, that God has no needs, but also that God satisfies the needs that we have. Every need we have, God satisfies. our needs. And then I love what Paul says right after this. God himself gives life and breath to everything and satisfies every need there is. God gives life and breath. And that's the other thing that stands out to me today. I wish Lexi were sitting right here because she could talk to us for quite a while about breath. She's rereading, maybe probably the third or fourth time, a book called Breath by James Nestor, Nestor, Breath. She loves it. Ask her about it sometime. You know, she's a yoga instructor, so breath, she's very aware of breath and breathing and how important that is. She's told me so many stories from this book, and she's not here right now, but I went and got the book and started rifling around in it to try to find some nugget to share with you about breath, because I'm hooked on these words from Paul, and it's all throughout Scripture, that God gives life and breath to everything. God gives life and breath. I don't know what the bottom line of this book from James Nestor is, but I know this, that how we breathe matters. How we breathe matters. And to connect that, this profound importance about our breath, to God as the source of our breath, is just a really neat connection, you know? And so I did find this in kind of the very end of the book. Nestor writes this: breath gives us the means to stretch our lungs and straighten our bodies, boost blood flow, balance our mind and moods, and excite the electrons in our molecules, to sleep better, run faster, swim deeper, live longer, and evolve further. Breath and how we breathe. And God gives life and breath to us and to every living thing. And that's pretty great. And it's just a gift. All of it is grace. There's nothing that we needed to do or need to do, because God has no needs. God only gives abundantly. And that's pretty awesome, right? If only we could fully realize that day in and day out, how easy it is for us to get tangled up in our own needs, and the idea that there's something that we need to do to earn it or to deserve it. But nothing could be farther from the truth, my friends. Read Acts chapter 17. Check out the things Paul talks about to the Greeks while he's in Athens. Pretty interesting stuff. That's all I've got for you today. Hope everyone's doing great, healthy, happy, enjoying this sunshine. Grace and peace, and we'll see you next time.